just go to the printing press or just print for yourself certificate and make signatures in there, and you can apply for job, and you can be accepted because of the certificate. If they do not look on the seal on it, that certificate can be bogus or fake. So the seal is very important. In a somewhat similar way, God has a seal. The seal in itself can do nothing except the owner or put stamp on your documents. But the seal is very important. And when book of Exodus chapter 20 verses 8. Exodus chapter 20 and verses 8. Remember the Sabbath day, people. 6 days shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son or thy daughter. For in 6 days the Lord made the heaven. Many professing Christian denominations today are saying that the fourth commandment of God is no longer valid because it was nailed at the cross, and that Jesus abolished the law, so we no longer need to obey the law. Do not believe them, because they are not telling the truth. And some of them are saying nobody can obey the law of God. Is that true? Well, God himself said in the second commandment, he said, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above or that is in the earth beneath. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them or serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, I am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers up to the third and fourth generation, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love God and keep his commandments. So are there people who love God and keep his commandments? God said there are thousands of them that love God and keep his commandments. So if any minister of Sunday keeping churches will tell you that no man can obey God's law, he is telling a lie. Because God said there are thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. And the most thing among God's commandment that they hate is the number 4. Because the seal of God is there. Satan himself hates God's 10 commandments. That's why he destroyed it. Now go with me to Exodus chapter 31, verse 12. Exodus chapter 31, verse 12. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbath ye shall keep. It is a sign between me and you throughout your generation, that ye may know that I am the Lord your God that sanctified you. So it is a sign of God between him and us, as his people. Go with me to Ezekiel chapter 20, verses 12 and 13. The reason being why we open the Bible is because we would like you to be deeply rooted into the Word of God, so that you will not be deceived by false teachers. Moreover, also I give them my Sabbath to be a sign between me and them, that they might know that I am the Lord that sanctified them. But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They walked not in my statutes, and they despise my judgment, which if none do, he shall even live in my Sabbath. They greatly pollute. Then said I would pour out my fury upon them in the wilderness to consume them. Again, the Lord said through prophet Ezekiel that the observance of the Sabbath is God's sign to his church. That sanctifies us. And in verse 13, we note in the record that the literal Israelites made rebellion against God. They polluted the Sabbath. They practiced idolatry and adultery. They become wicked to the extent that they will kill the prophets of God and the servant of God. That's why the 144,000 seal could not be the literal Israel, but rather it is the spiritual Israel. Those who truly keep God's commandment and have the testimony in the faith of Jesus. Those are the true Israelites in spirit. And those are the ones